Greetings to viewers from across the globe. You're welcome to the show, Viewpoints, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue. I'm your host, Odiawa AI for Veegil Media. I do believe you're having a marvelous Thursday. On the show today, we will be talking about the off-cycle elections, not just the off-cycle elections which are coming up on Saturday. We're going to be looking into its history, how it all began, the trends, and the facts. A lot of us hear of the off-cycle elections, and we do not know how it all began. It's just a trend which has started ringing in the ears via news platforms or media houses or even on the internet. And focuses have strictly been on the core states which are to be contesting or where these elections are to be taking place in. 3 states to be specific, Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo. But there are other states also which have their own off-cycle elections because of various reasons or the other. Why? Because there were anomalies which needed to be visited by affected parties in the court of law. Now, moving on to the show of today about the off-cycle and off-season elections. To begin with, Nigeria returned to democracy in 1999 after the general elections which were held across the country to vote political leaders into various offices, but there are also off-cycle elections. Now, notably, the general elections are conducted every 4 years in the nation, but the off-cycle elections have been in existence since courts overturned some elections results in states after petitions which were submitted by the aggrieved politicians or aggrieved political parties. Now, this has led to conducting new elections or reinstating the winners, thereby leading to changes in the default timetable of the electoral body or the electoral umpire, INEC. Now, these differing reasons leading to INEC's changes in the election timetable where elections are conducted in other affected states are called off-season and off-cycle elections. Now, these are mantras which we've been hearing over weeks, counting down to November 11. Some people just hear this off-cycle or off-season elections and they do not know what it actually is. Once they hear that mantra, it's a case of, okay, elections are taking place in so-called states. Now, currently, Nigeria has 8 off-cycle gubernatorial elections, which include Anambra, Edo, Ondo, Ekiti, Osun, Bayelsa, Kogi, and Imo State. Now, the last 3 states which I just mentioned form the basis of our topic of discussion for today's show. Now, to begin with, the off-cycle elections began in Anambra in 2006 when the former governor and Labour Party presidential candidate of the 2023 just concluded elections, Peter Obi, contested under the platform of ABGA. In case we've forgotten the acronym ABGA, it stands for the All Progressives Grand Alliance. He was actually sworn in. Now, Obi emerged under that platform as the governor after contesting the result of the 2003, I beg your pardon, the 2003, which installed Dr. Chris Ngige of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP. Now, since that time, the gubernatorial elections in Anambra has been held 3 years, particularly after the general elections. And the next one, as we speak now, is due to hold in 2026. Now, following the trends from 7 other states which trailed the Anambra saga, which came in 2007 when election tribunals obtained several results in Bayelsa and Kogi as lead representatives were temporarily replaced by the speakers of the House of Assembly before returning elections which were held that same year. Now, when I say House of Assembly here, I'm not talking about the national, I'm talking about the State House of Assembly, who is actually vested with the responsibility upon when the #1 man concerning the state is not around. For instance, at the federal level, when we have the chief executive absent or he has been impeached, pending when he's going to, or when that seat is vacant, when there's going to be a replacement, the senator or the Senate president actually takes over. Now, moving on. In that same year, 2007, Edo states, Ondo states, Ekiti and Osun states, triumphant candidates from different or various parties, political parties I mean, commenced their tenures following court rulings. Now, this was after when verdicts have already been disbursed or discharged. Now, the most recent states now to join in the whole trail of the off-cycle trend is Imo State, and this actually occurred in 2019 after the Supreme Court nullified the elections of Emeka Ihedioha of the PDP, the People's Democratic Party, and declared Hope Uzodinma of the APC, the All Progressives Congress, as the emerging winner. I'm Odiawa AI for Veegil Media, and the show is Viewpoint, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue. You will do well to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, Veegil Media, and follow us on various social media platforms. Also, visit the Apple Store and the Google Play Store to download the app. Join me in the next phase of the show. You're welcome back to the show. I'm Odiawa AI for Veegil Media, and the show is a Viewpoint, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue. We're talking about the history, facts, and the trends which have set the trail in off-cycle and off-season elections. Now, historically speaking, centering on Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo states. To start with, Bayelsa State held its first off-cycle elections in 2007 when Timi Silva, who was at the time in the PDP, he was declared governor, but Abitimi Angbare, if I'm getting the name correct, of the defunct Action Congress of Nigeria. If we remember, the Action Congress metamorphosed into what we have, the APC right now. He challenged the election results before the tribunal, and he actually lost. Now, losing at the tribunal, Abitimi petitioned the Court of Appeal in Port Harcourt to overturn the prior verdict. The judgment of the appeal court was actually prompting INEC to organize a new poll in the state in 2008. Silva came on board and won the election flawlessly and was declared the duly elected governor, which took place on the election of that period. Now, we could see this disruption in the state's election calendar, but for a cycle of normalcy to retain in a democratic setting, that is why we have these off-cycle elections, particularly before the general elections or after the general elections. Now, the next governorship election in the states is slated for November 11. When I mean the state now, we're focusing on Bayelsa 2023. And from my own observation, frankly speaking, in the Bayelsa political racetrack, the contest is a two-horse race, particularly between the in-government governor Duye Diri of the PDP and Silva of the APC. Out of 16 contestants. Now, not that other contestants as we speak are not of importance. Other prominent contenders such as Udengs Eradiri, Beneleafe Osuluku of the Labour Party and the Social Democratic Party, to be speaking respectively. Now, we're done with the historical facts and the trends setting the trail in Bayelsa. Now, moving over to the confluence states, Kogi State. It held its first gubernatorial elections on the 14th of April 2007, and Ibrahim Idris of the PDP was declared the winner, while the main contender, Abubakar Audu of the ANPP, the All Nigeria People's Party, petitioned the Kogi State Election Tribunal to oppose the verdict, saying that he actually won the elections. Now, my question is, on the part of INEC, how have they been so efficient to actually from top to bottom dot their I's and cross their T's? Then also make sure that they meet up with every particular loophole which might be evidently glaring to cause any form of anomaly. Now, these are the things that actually distort the election calendar, before and after the elections, making candidates or political parties end up in the court, and the court ends up deciding who actually is the winner. Now, moving on, although the election was nullified, calling for the conduct of a fresh election, Ibrahim Idris won the re-election as Kogi State's governor on the 29th of March 2008. Now, currently as we speak, another election is also scheduled for November 11 in that same state with 18 contenders. If we will recall, I mentioned 16 contenders in Bayelsa. As we speak now in Kogi State, we have 18 contenders in the political race for the government seat. There are APC's Ahmed Ododo, which is, you know, a renowned figure of, I will call him a popular stooge of the current governor, Yahaya Bello of Kogi State. Of course, the renowned Dino Melaya of the PDP. Of course, we've been watching videos on social media on his escapades, particularly starting from his area of constituency, Kaba, and a whole lot, just to create awareness. Why? Because he also deserves a seat. While others in the race include Adejo Okeme of the Labour Party and Alhaji Murtala Ajaka of the Social Democratic Party, who is at loggerheads, locking horns with the incumbent governor. Now, also Dauda Issa and Dele Williams of the Allied People's Movement and African Democratic Congress, Idoko Ilona of the ABGA, and also the only woman in the who is Fatima, or rather, sorry, I beg your pardon, the only woman who is Fatima Suleiman of the Zenith Labour Party. Now, it appears now that women of Kogi State are actually setting the trail, because recently the senators swore in the first female senatorial candidate by name Natasha, who received the backing of a lot of heavyweights in Kogi State. Now, I think Kogi women are coming on board to actually showcase that suffrage doesn't need to be limited, yes, electoral suffrage doesn't necessarily mean to be limited to men alone. Now, moving over to Imo State, the last port of call in the off-cycle elections for this year, this month, November 11, 2023. The gubernatorial race in Imo State actually in 2019 began with the off-cycle elections when Governor Uzodinma of the APC contested the result of Emeka Ihedioha of the PDP. Now, the legal tussle moved from the election tribunal to the Supreme Court. Uzodinma was inaugurated as governor of the state as of January 14, 2020, after the Supreme Court declared him the winner. Now, the state will have its first off-cycle election alongside Bayelsa, Kogi, come this month, November, this Saturday on the 11th. Now, currently in Imo State, we have 17 candidates. Now, they seem to be following themselves in sequence, where we have 16 candidates in Bayelsa, 18 candidates in Kogi, and currently now 17 candidates in Imo State. Now, even in Imo State, where we have this form of apathy, whereby there will be or there will not be elections, we still want to see what will actually happen as I go further in the Imo State elections come November 11, 2023, concerning the candidates. Now, among these 17 candidates are Hope Uzodinma of the APC, who is currently the incumbent governor, Senator Samuel Anyanwu of the PDP, who is currently a serving senator, then Senator Athan Achonu of the Labour Party, Obinna Ekwebelem of the SDP, and Major General Lincoln Ogunnewe, retired of the Action Alliance. Now, with all these which we have seen now, the off-cycle elections or off-season elections, we've been able to elaborate the history as to how it commenced, how it began, the trends which have been taken, and the trails which have been, like, following themselves in sequence. Now, it is our hope that the elections do not just come and go, but contenders or contestants, political parties will behave or act like good sportsmen and appreciate when they win or when they lose. And even those who have lost should not just feel that they've been deliberately left in the cold. Why? Because of the winning party, and end up in the courts. They should leave the decision of who actually will win for the electoral umpire, not ending up in court and wasting scarce funds, which they ought to use in serving the electorate. I'm Adiawa AI for Viewpoint, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue right here on Veegil Media. You will do well to subscribe to our channel, Veegil Media on YouTube, and follow us on various social media platforms. Also, visit the Apple Play Store or the Google Play Store to get our apps. Thank you for watching.